You give us just a moment, because okay, recording in progress. It says so. You know, he's my, how would I say? He makes everything happen.
Engineer.
Yes, the engineer. I'm proud of you.
Engineering.
I'm really proud of you.
I'm proud of you. Yeah.
There's a noise I'm getting. Huh? From this guy called Nafi. Let me see.
Good.
Here we go. Yeah, let me text that.
Dëgg yaay di nettali wu ma leen ko nga bii bu toll ci weeram waaye sëy toll dafa mel ne du yàq
Move her from here.
ma ñibbi sëy bu yàgg kaw la fii xanaa kooku du mbokkam kam na di mbokkam yaay moo ko si dugal ah xaw ma nag de
Hello? Hello, Nafi? Okay. It has gone. Yes, greetings, my beautiful, beautiful audience. It is that Saturday when you see my face, of course, when you see my face, you know it's a Saturday. And it's when we come back, Generation Next, to continue the movement. And like you all know, we are a youth movement platform geared towards motivating, inspiring the young people, of course, in order to effect or create a positive change in the society. I believe, or like I always say, that we all have a responsibility to play. So long you are alive, you have a responsibility, you have a role. And this is our responsibility, Generation Next. This is what we believe, or we believe collectively the world would be a better place to live in. But also it's important, it's imperative, it's key that we recognize those persons that are doing impeccably well, to have them know that the country, or wherever country that they belong to, appreciate what they do. It's important we do that while they are alive, and not wait until when they are departed for us to be able to come out in our numbers and begin to say one or two things that they've been doing, to be able to show our appreciation when they're already gone. So we believe it's important that we do that while they are alive, but also how do we make sure that they know that we appreciate what they do, is by getting them involved in whatever that we want to do, having them in our daily discussions, try to understand what are some of the problems that they're going, the problems that they're facing, why do we do this, in order to help them, encourage them to continue the good work that they're doing, but also to motivate the young ones that are somewhere in a bubble, thinking that life has shown them possibly their challenge in one way or the other, and they may think that life is just not happy with them. Of course, most people would say life is not fair. People would always say that. But we all have our problems, we all have our challenges, we all have our obstacles. Of course, this comes along the way, it comes with life. So it's important that we know that, what is important that we have people who have excelled, who have overcome all these things, to come and share their stories. So today, it was a surprise, because the one that I have on my screen, the young person that I have on my screen, is someone that I know, it's someone that I value, it's someone that I very well look up to, and this is a person who knows how much I appreciate what he does. And it was a surprise. He didn't know that I was going to be the one to have this discussion with him, but I'm really happy. Upon him seeing my face, he was startled, of course. But yeah, so it's going to be really a very, very interesting conversation today. Really, I'm super excited that I have Chef Bojang. Actually, he's my favorite chef. If you do follow me on my social media handle, you would see that I always talk about him. And of course, on his bad day, this particular bad day of his that I went on and, you know, appreciate how he understands me, because he really understands me. So we go into the program proper, and I shall introduce him to my beautiful audience. So like you see the photo here, beautiful, with the laurels and the medals you can see. Mr. Saikou Sanka Bojang, aka Chef Bojang, is origin of Kafuta village, resident of Brikama. He is the president of the Gambia Chef Association, also an ambassador, best of gastronomy in the Gambia. Of course, I can attest to that. Mr. Bojang is also the chairman of West African Chefs Association, director of programs for African Chef Alliance. He is the first Gambian to cook for the late Queen, I'm adding that, of England in London. Saikou had international awards and worked in over 15 countries. He is a youth mentor and a career coach. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Mr. Should I say chef? So Bojang, it's a pleasure to actually host you.
Thank you, thank you.
You're welcome, you're welcome. And please give me that smile, because whenever we talk, one thing I very, very much like about you is the smile and the fact that you're super humble. Haven't read what you've achieved so far, and look at it, look at you, very young. You still are the person that is really, really humble, and you're someone who is who believes in training, in helping, in giving back to young person. This I can attest to, and I very, very much appreciate that. So let me take you through as to the program proper. So like I said from the beginning, what we try to do here, Generation Next, is not to elaborate on your current being, because your current being is the reason why everybody knows you. So our main focus, our main interest, we didn't have to dwell on your current being. So literally what we will try you to what we would love to engage you on is try to understand your life journey. That is to say, from your humble beginnings, how everything started. Perhaps if you can take us from your kindergarten, I'll be really happy. That is if you remember. So I'm gonna drag you to that end. So take us through. You're on mute, you're on mute. Unmute yourself. Yeah, all right.
Good afternoon to you all, and good afternoon to all viewers, and thank you so much for having me on board on this mentorship or inspirational talk show. I am Chef Saikou Bojang. Obviously, as Sira has already mentioned, given a bio of myself. I didn't know she was digging into my archive to come to know who exactly I am. But well done on you, on your investigation or your research, and knowing who Chef Bojang is and who he was as well before he is today. True, Suraya and I literally, we've been really, really cool friends. You know, we vibe a lot, work-related matters, and you know, it was really great. Well, it is just, I don't know where to start, but then I will say the journey has never been easy before you get to your success. And it's always said, it's always the rough ride that gets you to the success of your life. And I can attest to that. While I wasn't fortunate to literally to enjoy what you call a nursery school or a kindergarten. I didn't know any of those because I was brought up by a granny initially who took me to be our literally adopted son. Meanwhile, she was an auntie to my dad, and I was named after her favorite brother. So she wouldn't let anybody touch me. So I have to be her own property, personal belonging, who no one dared to go close to. So that was in Piram Primary School, I mean, Piram Village, where she was. She took me there, and you know, as a young little boy who didn't even know who my mom or my dad was, And she actually deprived me of going to school. And because for her, in her days, going to school is just a waste of time and also learning about the world. So that was really tough. But then obviously I've seen my age group going to school every day, and I get really jealous seeing them in school uniform. And when they come from school, some of them were really mean. You know, they'll come with their hands, the smell of the food from the school. You know, so I'm like, wow. So you get food at school, and I don't get to taste any of these foods, especially the matcha sauce. Funny it was, I remember, and the bahal during school days. So when they come rub their fingers on my nose, I'm like, oh my God, I am not gonna miss this. So, but that's just you know, another part of the reason why I had to take myself to school. So there was a caretaker whose name was Padembo Sanyan, who was living right opposite where I was. And I went to him and I said, I want to go to school because I've seen my colleagues or my age group going to school, and I'm really interested in going to be a student. Then I didn't know who my mom was because, like, when I was taken to this grandmother, I was literally maybe 2 years old. So I couldn't know who, and I always called her my mom. So I'm like, he said to me, go and talk to your mom about it. And I'm like, okay. My mom said, okay. That was a lie, by the way. I just said to him, yeah, I've spoken to her and she's all okay with it. So he went, okay, tomorrow morning, come, we go together. So the following morning, as early as about 6 something, just immediately after the Fajr prayers, I went and waited for him at his gate. He came out and said, you came so early? I said, yes, I want to go to school. So that's how my school started. I went to the school, and then that was Piran Primary School. And then when I got into being enrolled, I didn't tell my grandmother or my mom at the time. I called her my mom that I'm going to school. I just said, I'm going to our next door neighbor to help him do something. I don't know what the lie I used on that day, but it did work for me. So then as I went for the registration, and I got told that I need to get my own table, my desk or my chair, and I need to get my own slate and a duster and stuff. So I went back and also with the uniform. I went back to the grandma and I said to her, well, I know I didn't tell you that I'm going to school, but yes, I've been to the school and asked me to buy A, B, C, or Z. She stood by her word saying that, nope, I told you I'm not interested in school. It's a white man thing. Please don't tell me anything about it. Meanwhile, she could afford it at the time. So I just went, okay, I'm still gonna go. And then guess what? There was the school had some other side that has been ongoing construction. They have some cement blocks around as well. So I went and took a cement brick or a block, and I wrote my name on it, and that was my desk. So I would carry it to my classroom, just sit on it, and then I had a slate and a duster that I made out of
Wow, wow, I cannot believe that. The connection on his side, but look at, despite all odd, he has to go take a block. We all had it. He had to go take a block and like write his name because we wanted to go to school. Amazing. No excuses, people. No excuses. Sometimes we come up with so many excuses that we tend to sort of blockage whatever it is that we may want to do. But sometimes I believe that we're not really serious, because if you're really really serious about what it is that you want to do, excuses wouldn't stop you. I may give an example with regard to what I'm saying, because okay, he's gone, I guess, is the connection. With regard to what I'm saying, because I could remember the last time that we had this media run, and it was normally on a Saturday, and it rained heavily, and cats and dog, if you like. But then that did not stop us. We still had to get in the rain. We had to get in the rain, ran in the rain. So we could have, of course, say that it's raining and then we stop. But these are some of the things that we need to understand. Circumstances, of course, we all understand. Sometimes we're not quick to judge anybody, but we should not also let excuses derail us. I believe when we are passionate about what we really want to do, now narrating from what Saikou Bojang is talking about, although he was taken to his grandparent from a very, very young age, and the grandmother would have not or did not understand the importance of education, wouldn't let him go to school. But he persisted, and he even said that he had to lie. He had to lie to the grandmother that he has spoken to his mother in order for him to go to school, when that was not the case. But also, judging by his story, we realize what he did. He went to school, but then he was asked, in order to join class, you would have to bring in your own duster. You know, you would have to bring in your own chair, your own desk. Well, which is not happening now. I guess we are lucky. The generation of now are lucky that we don't have to do that, because we go to school now, that everything is there for you. But quoting from his time, he had to endure that, but that did not stop him as well. He had to take a block. We had him say that he had to take a block. The story is going really interesting. For some reason, the connection has gone, and you know, so literally, this is it. Young people, wherever you may be, life itself comes with challenges. Another thing too we need to understand is getting up to study. Sometimes for some of us that are going to school, you know, getting up to study itself, it's a big challenge, because having to sacrifice your sleep, that alone, it's not something easy. But we do that because we know that there's something that we're looking forward to. There's something that we want to achieve. So it's a matter of having to compromise one thing over the other. You always have to compromise one thing over the other. You always have to sacrifice one thing over the other. Nothing good comes easy. But again, nothing even comes easy, because whatever it is that you do, you may have or you would have to put in the work. You may have to or would have to put in the work. This is what we need to understand. But then, you know, so Saikou Bojang's story, I must say, when he gets back, I hope he gets back. Of course, I'm guessing it's the internet. But when he gets back, I must say that the story would be really, really interesting, because it is stated that he is the first ever Gambian to cook for the late Queen. I think that alone is interesting. We would love to understand how that came about. But again, it has stated that he has worked in 15 different countries. And seeing how young he is, I'm sure, quoting from his life journey, that has been a struggle throughout his life. When we get to understand everything about his life, it will show the struggle that he had to endure in order to get to where he is now. And I remember vividly when I talked on my Facebook platform that when I had his food, when I went to his restaurant, and then we had this local benachin, and he mentioned a word, a gagging, something like gagging for food. So the word was really, really interesting that I had to share on my social media platform. So from the beginning that I mentioned that it was a surprise that we are having him, he had no idea that it were gonna be me who was gonna interview him. So I'm sure at this point he may be trying to get back, but the internet, of course, this is always a problem that we do face with the internet. So yes, I hope Saikou Bojang comes back, and I wouldn't want to stop at this point. I'm succumbed to come up with what Mohammed is forcing me. Mohammed is forcing me to talk. But like I said, hence we are continuing the motivation, the inspiration towards directing the young people of this nation. We that would bring me again to what I'm saying when it comes to the challenges that we do face. You know, we all face challenges in life, and the important thing about the challenges that we do face is that you learn from it, and it makes you better. And another thing we need to also understand is sometimes there are certain things that we may be engaged in and we fail. There are certain people that are quick to succumb and let that failure define them. But one thing also we need to understand is to every seed of failure, every failure there's a seed to success. So when we do certain things sometimes and we fail, that doesn't mean that we cannot do it, or that doesn't mean that that's the end of whatever it is that we have started. It means it's an opportunity, or it's an opportunity for us to try to identify what is it that we've done wrong, and the next time we fail to do it, then we would avoid the very thing that we've done wrong. And then it means we grow. So we would have passed that stage. We would have known that, okay, I've done it this way and it didn't work. So next time when I'm going to do it, I exactly would know how to do it. So there becomes a seed of success. So persevere in whatever you do, and being consistent also, it's very important. It's key. Here it is, it's like it wants to rain, but despite that we had to get in the rain because we try to encourage that consistency in whatever it is that you do. So a young person, wherever you may be, whatever challenges that you may be faced with, know that in life, in order to get to a particular destination, you would have to pass through like it's sort of a ladder. So it's moving from one step to the other. But getting to the other step requires you may of course be challenged in getting to the next step, but whatever challenge that may come your way, know that it's there to make you get to the next step. So it's there to make you better. Because come on, if we do not have mistakes, commit mistakes, if we do not face one or two things in our life, then we will not grow. And growth comes with challenges that you face, that makes you better, that makes you stronger. I'm talking too much. I don't even know what I'm saying, Mohammed. I wish Saikou Bojang comes back. I wish really he comes back. Oh my gosh. So okay, I hear from the background.
Yeah,
Mohammed, thank you for rescuing me. I don't know what I'm saying. I'm so
you don't have to worry. I mean, what you're doing is very right. I'm so we're gonna have Saikou
Bojang.
pretty soon. You
Yeah.
know, in Gambia mostly we face challenges with the internet connectivity.
Exactly.
So that is what he's battling with. But we're hoping to have him very soon,
Yeah.
and then the show will continue as you're doing. In fact,
Exactly.
from the stories of Saikou, where he started, that's very inspiring, Sira.
Exactly.
Considering his situation, you know, if he didn't make efforts to go to school and start doing it all by himself, you know, the story wouldn't have been today the way it is, you know. So which
Exactly.
means in life, you don't have to wait for people to say or do things for you. Once you have the ambition, you are ready, you just get out there and then start doing it. Help will come along the way, support will come along the way. So you don't necessarily have to wait for any kind of support or any kind of encouragement. You have to encourage yourself in the first place, and you have to believe in yourself that you can do it. You know, from the beginning of this conversation, that is what I have picked, and the resilience that he has to be able to start going to school despite the challenges that lies ahead, you know. And obviously, when we continue to hear his story, I'm sure there's a lot of learning points that we can get from him. On the
Exactly.
background, we're still reaching out to see if we can have him back swiftly. And of course, keep on going. But like Siri, you're doing
Okay.
is great. So keep on
Okay.
it.
So let me, yes, thank you so much for, you see, sometimes the beauty is, sometimes all we need is a word of affirmation, word of encouragement, and then we will
Yeah.
continue. You see, it's important that you get in and you rescued me, like I said. But of course, you've given me more forum in order to continue the talk, because you've mentioned that it's a matter of starting, actually starting for something to follow should. Sometimes you don't necessarily have to sit and then wait. Of course, it's not even possible for you to sit and have someone else come drag you from where you're sitting. That is your comfort zone, and want the person to do it all for you. You have to put in the effort. This has taken me to another platform where most of us, we tend to say that whatever that happens in life was meant to happen. Well, of course, faith has made us believe that whatever happened, it's meant to happen. But sometimes we also need to know that there are certain things that we create for ourselves. There are certain things that we cause for ourselves. There are certain things that we are the main reason. We are the very reason why it's happening. For instance, when you know that you have health, God has created you. God has given you like everything in you. It's okay. You, most important today is health. I think that's the most important thing. And then you tend to not actually engage yourself in any meaningful activities, not at all. And then there you are saying, okay, I don't have a work. Okay, the wind is blowing. Oh my gosh, it wants to rain. The rain wants to come. Oh my gosh, you get it. So you're not putting in any effort. You're not putting in the work. You did not learn skill, because others may say that you may have certain things that are innate in you, that is gifted. You were born with it. It's a sort of a skill that you have. But for you to be able to execute that skill too, you need to perfect that skill. So you don't just sit for the skill to perfect itself. So it's a matter of putting in the effort. This we need to understand. So let's stop sitting in our comfort zone and saying that whatever happened is meant to happen. That's why we are not growing. If you're to look at the nation, or the Gambia in particular, where I am, most of us tend to be really lazy, not actually put in the work, and then the excuses that most of us would give is like either the blaming on the government. I always say that we all have a role to play. The government has a role to play. You have a role to play. So most of us would tend to sit and always blame on the government. They always find excuses. My definition of excuses, I would dwell it on that. That is, we always finding excuses to say, because of this is not working. Because of this, I couldn't do that. But the reality is, have you really put in the effort? So we need to understand that you put in the effort, and those excuses would definitely be limited. I'm not saying that there may not be challenges along the way. Of course, there is. I always emphasize that there would always be challenges along the way, but you have to start it. For anybody to meet you there, you have to start it. So until you start, you may not necessarily know how it's going to be. Another thing too, I would love to share that may go to the young persons. Some of us, perhaps you have something in you, you're gifted in one way or the other, but nervousness, fear is actually keeping you from reaching out, from showing the world what you're gifted. You don't sit and wait for that fear to completely be eradicated, because until you put in the step, until you go on board, until you present yourself, the fear may never overcome you. So it's important that even though we are fearful, yes, as I speak to you before I start the show, I get fear. We all fearful. We get nervous on how the show is going to unfold, nervous that we have to talk to you, nervous that what question would we be. It's natural. It's natural that we face some of these nervousness, but we do not let that nervousness or we do not let that nervousness actually shun us. So despite the fact that we are nervous, we still go there and show the world that yes, this is also what we are gifted in. And I believe if you are able to share whatever that you are gifted in, what you do, you not only grow yourself, but you're helping another person out there, because then you're helping the person know, okay, from your experience, this is how you did this. Okay, me that is sitting here, if I should follow that experience of yours in one way or the other, in how you did this, I may be perfect. Not necessarily perfect, but I may be able to know how to go about executing whatever skill that I also have. So it's important that we know this, young person, don't let anyone derail you. If you have any skill, please come on board. If you think you're the kind of person that when you speak, everybody listen, come on board. That fear, yes, is there. Like I said, we are all fearful. Everybody gets that nervousness, everybody. So find someone also to encourage you. Sometimes maybe all what we need is, like I said, word of affirmation, someone to tell us that yes, we're good, we can do it, before we're able to go out and actually present ourselves. So if you realize that your environment too, it's a very negative environment, that it's impossible for you to have someone advise you or someone actually give you that word of affirmation, you have the internet. I believe now the internet is everywhere, and you can definitely go on the internet and look for people that you search for motivational speakers. That is also another way that you may be helped. I think I saw Sanka. I don't know if he's gone. Chef was here, but I think the connection is gone again. So yes, Mohammed, yeah.
But he's trying to connect. We're gonna have him. Just like you are saying, Sira. His story from the beginning is well about how he is today, because in life, if you're not making efforts for anything at all, it's not going to happen. Anything you want to do in life, it must start with your effort. No matter how much people supported you, guided you, give you everything, if you don't make effort, it's all zero. At the end of the day, you can't make anything out of that. So I like that part where he started his early days of education. There is challenge, of course, but he also got inspired. For example, no wonder he's in the field of food. then son, when the people goes to school, they come with the pals there, and then that makes him encourage this. You know what? I also want to go to this school and get my house. You know.
The beauty is sometimes there are certain things that anybody does that actually perhaps their main preference of doing that is to shame you. Sometimes yes, but then that is them doing it, and that is their motive. But it is of advantage to you not to take it in a negative form, but then to take it in a positive form, that is to build you as a person. Because having those kids come to him, and then after having eaten whatever dish it is, and then they smash it on his face just so he could get the scent of that food, that alone motivated him to actually pursue going to school, which is, I think, very, very important. That it did happen. It pushed him, and it has taken him to the extreme of he mentioned that he told the grandmother that he is talking, is it the mother or the uncle, the grandmother or the uncle, that he has spoken to the mother regarding his education, when that was not the case. So that's a positive. Sometimes they say there are lies that you do that that would modify things, but there are lies that would spoil. Others would say a lie that would be impactful than to say a lie that would not be impactful. But then that's a lie that has impacted his life until today. Because the grandmother, remember this saying that I always say, and of course I do hear SBI talk about it as well, and many people also, that is to say that he who feels it knows it, and he who knows it feels it. Now, I wouldn't blame the grandmother, because at that stage, it was a generation where they would not understand what it takes to educate a child. And because she was not educated herself, she may not then understand what was the beauty of that education. But having that child from that very, very early age, and having his peers come to him just to shame him, shame him on the fact that he wasn't going to school, that helped shape who he has become today, which is key, Mohammed, very, very key. So sometimes when certain things does happen to us, it's important that we look at the positive side of those things and forgo the negative side of those things. Because when you dwell, you see, the brain is very critical. The brain can, you may do so many positive things, but just one thing, one negative thing, and the brain tends to get hold of that negative thing. It lingers in your head, it lingers in your mind. So we have to try. It also takes effort again. Everything in this life takes effort. It has to take effort again for you to be able to understand that I don't want to dwell on the negative thing, because what impact would it have to me? What impact? Always you have to ask, what impact, what positivity would it bring to you? So if there would be no positivity coming your way, it's important, it's key that we forgo that, which most people find it really difficult to do. But it also takes experience, it takes growth, it takes maturity. As you grow in, you tend to realize so many things. I remember saying this while I was at work. I said that now I'm growing as I'm getting mature. So many things that I used to believe then, like my way of life has changed. How I view life has changed. But
Right.
but again, it's with the failures that I overcome in life, because sometimes when one door closes, the other door opens. So when that door closes, you tend to think, oh my gosh, this has closed, and the trauma that gets to you. So others would say God is on the background making making it happen. But with the right attitude, things will definitely unfold.
Yeah.
So as you grow too, you tend to maturity comes with experience. You tend to see that how I was doing things, this is not, it's like you have a different view of life. So it's important, Mohammed, you elaborated on that.
Yeah.
The effort, it's really key in whatever it is that we do. And I must applaud Saikou Bojang for actually taking that bold step in getting himself enlisted. Although he said he didn't get to kindergarten, he didn't get to nursery school. So I can't really wait to have him come back and then continue the story. Oh my gosh, I can.
Yeah. I'm so he has a lot to share. From the beginning of conversation, you can tell there's a lot that we're gonna hear from him. Once we're able to get hold of him, once the internet allow him to be back on the show, he has a lot of things that we can be inspired about, we can learn from, considering the journey he has started from, and his early education to where he is. Consider, he on the brief bio of what you have read, he is the first Gambian to have ever cooked for the Queen of England. That is the late Queen. That is something that is an achievement. You know, it's rare to see man, anybody from anywhere to cook for the Queen. You know, so that's a great achievement, and that is something we would have loved to hear how that all started. You know, how he was able to get to that stage until what he did. I mean, that is, we can't wait to hear that from him, and that's gonna be a great achievement. Um, like I said, we gonna hear a lot from him. That is, if we're able to connect with him again. If not, probably we have to reschedule and then have him come on the show again sometime. Probably you know, on that is going to help us to have the full taste of this story that he has. But I'm sure he has a lot to share, and I'm beginning to learn a lot from this brief story. Like I said, you know, that speaks to the topic that we are saying: effort in life is God. Right now, what we are doing, we lost it. We're making efforts to make sure the show keep going, and then we're making effort to make sure that we still reach out to him to have him on the show.
Exactly.
If we said, okay, he's gone, that's it, we don't make effort, well, we're already live. The show has to go on, which is why I have to be dragging to come and have a conversation with you to make it so that the conversation keep on going. And that is what is amazing about it, you know?
You know what? You know I'm laughing. Thank you so much, Mohammed, for sharing that. I'm laughing because I remember when I asked you if Saikou Bojang was going to join us live, and then you said no, not physically, but then he would join us on via Zoom. I was like, oh my gosh, that wasn't what I wished for. When the surprise, when I didn't tell him that I was going to be the one that would actually have him on the one-on-one exclusive, because I didn't tell him because I wanted to surprise him, which actually materialized. But the fact that he was not going to be here physically, that I felt a part of me has subsided. But then perhaps this is what God has done, has created, and if we are to reschedule again, then we were going to have him. We would have him live, which is beautiful. That's why I laugh, anyways. So now let me reiterate on his bio. Perhaps we could appreciate him more for the remarkable achievement that he has been doing, or he is doing in this country. Of course, it's stated that he is the president of the Gambia Chef Association, and of course, ambassador of the best gastronomy in the Gambia. Now, I remember when I was going through his bio, then he was visibly here online. I said yes to the gastronomy part because perhaps you may not know, I worked with him. I work in the hotel industry, but I worked with him particularly at Senegambia Hotel. And having worked with him, I happen to be someone who gets allergies from almost eating every single thing, right? So having found Saikou Bojang, it was completely different because I work at Cook Ocean before going to Senegambia Hotel, and that I did not get at Cook Ocean. But when I get to Senegambia Hotel, having him there as a chef, right? He haven't understood my situation, that is that I get allergies from almost everything. When it's lunchtime, could you imagine, he would prepare food because we have the staff quarter where we go have our meal. But Saikou Bojang would take it to himself. He would prepare food for me, food that would not make me allergy. So he understood what makes me okay, like what I would eat that I wouldn't get allergies from. So that has gone to show a long way that he understands what he do as a person. Of course, having been the president of the Gambia Chef Association, and it would have been impeccably okay if he were here to tell us the medals, of course, the laurels, the competitions that he has participated in. Because yes, the Gambia Chef Association has participated in cooking competition outside of the Gambia, and on occasions they've won. So I would have loved to have him himself tell us some of the impact, the great stuff that the Chef Association under his leadership has acquired so far. It would have been great to have him say it, but since we are constrained in this regard, we are challenged in this regard. The internet has shunned him at this point. I'm happy that I'm saying a little of what I know. So what I'm saying is a little of what I know of him, but it's important that he happens to say the best of what he knows of who he is. Again, it says he is the chairman of West African Chefs Association, Director for African Safe Alliance. I think that's beautiful. And also it says he's a youth mentor and a career coach. Yes, he is. He is, because back at Senegambia Hotel, I remember times when we do talk and he will be there encouraging me. Mohammed, remember, there are times when I would tell you that I felt that my self-esteem was somehow low. I remember when I told you that, and you were there giving me words of affirmation, you were there encouraging me, you were there motivating me. You see, this is why I think motivating, encouraging, inspiring works, because it did work for me. It did work for me. So if it did work for me as a young person, I think it was important that I share for other young people to also know that yes, it would work. Well, others would say when you motivate or when you inspire, it may stay, it may be there for a short period of time. But so long you're able to continue to be persistent, to be consistent in that motivation, it will continue to be there. That's why Generation Next, we're always here to push, to continue that motivation from our experience. That's the beauty about it. He who knows it feels it, and he who feels it knows it. So it's key that he was there also motivating me during the time of Senegambia Hotel. He would motivate me, tell me how well I was doing. When he knew that I was also into the media, of course, because before going to the hotel industry, I was with the media as well. And when he understood that I was with the media, he was like, "You've got what it takes to be in them." So he'll be there motivating me. This is to affirm the fact that yes, he is a youth mentor and of course a career coach, which is important, Mohammed. I'm happy that there is a career coach here, because I remember in one of our discussions when I said that I was conflicted when I was at senior secondary school, then I would say that I would love to be an accountant. I remember, I think I told you that I said that in one of our sessions. And as I graduated, then I realized I had nothing to do with accountancy. I have nothing to do with accountancy whatsoever, absolutely, right? And then my first job was marketing, which I did. I told you. Talking back in school days, people will always tell me that you miss your field. I did commerce, but they always tell me you should be doing arts and not commerce. You get it? So because of career choices, right? So from marketing went into the media, went into went into the hotel industry. So now I'm able to realize finally what it is that I am settling in for. Yes, talking is important. That I said I love to do that, and I know because of the customer service, working in the hotel, knowing the personal personal interrelation service, that I also have skills, if you like, and the customer service is key. So now I'm able to, through experience, I'm able to identify, I'm able to know that yes, these are some of the skills that I have, and finally I'll be able to settle on whatever career that I choose to do. But others somewhere would say it took you all those time to be able to find out what you wanted to be. So I believe it's a long journey for me, but having him as a career coach is key, is important. Then you're able to guide anybody who has just graduated, and it may not even be graduated, someone who is going to school from that tender age. You're able to guide them, you're able to see them, look at them, and know that this is what they're gifted. They may not know it, but you there may be able to see that, may be able to know that. And what do? You guide them towards that journey. I think it's important that we have people do that. But who are these people who are able to do that? Are people who have experience, like yourself, like Saikou Bojang, like the little I know myself. So I believe together the world would be a better place, and together we would avoid making bigger mistakes, provided we have people who have learned to guide the young ones. So it's like Sanka is back. I can see. Yes, I can. I can see. I think he's still connecting. um, yeah, the connection is just not okay. Oh my gosh. Oh, Chef Bojang, you back?
I seem to be back.
Oh my gosh, we've missed you.
Oh, well, I don't know what happened. I need to go talk to my service provider about all this. Is that because of the clouds or the winds?
Oh, that's it. Yeah, because it looks, it wants to rain. I guess it's the rain.
I was in fact getting myself ready to commit you wherever you.
This video. Okay. Okay. So try switching on your video. Looks like your video is up. And okay, from this end it looks like it's drizzling. Then okay, I've got you. So let me quickly, chef, yeah, let me quickly do something.
Yeah.
Oh, right here. Ah, you're back. Good to see you. Okay, so now let's continue from where you stopped. I remember, if my memory serves me right, you said you had to take blocks and then and then write your name there, and that's what you use as your text, right?
Yes. Right.
Continue
So,
from there.
right. So from there, I started my primary education.
You got moved.
So my cleverness in the classroom to recognize that, oh, poor guy like you and all that, bullies and all that. But I didn't even listen. All I was looking at is like anytime we have exams, I always teach the class. So that made me down or shut them up. Then from then I grew all the way to my primary education. Then of course after the kindergarten of Buttrop senior secondary school. Then I decided to become a medical personnel by having to start as a volunteer nurse and pharmacologist at Brikama Health Center, wherein I also joined to become a pharmacy assistant in the training to become a pharmacology, which I did well, and then got little money. I actually sponsored myself to travel to the UK. When I got to the UK, like literally, I never got hosted by anybody. So what I did was like I was able to save some money before going. When I got there, I probably spent about 2 3 days at a friend's house. Then from there, I was able to get my own accommodation where I was staying or living with my elder brother who we were together. He was studying biomedical science, and I also got interested in studying biomedical science. So I got the medical background first. So the hotel I was working at to be able to sponsor myself in my tuition fees and stuff, which was a Holiday Inn hotel, I was a receptionist, you know. So they did ask us who the breakfast chef got sick, and then they asked for volunteers, and I volunteered to be part of the team to help cook breakfast and all that. And I joined the kitchen team, and then I was doing all I can, did my best, and I happened to be able to do a breakfast, a continental breakfast and a whole English breakfast in a hotel. After when the chef got back from his or recovered from his sickness, they did ask me if I wanna be trained to become a professional chef. At first, I wasn't sure what they wanted me to do. I thought maybe that I was gonna lose my whatever I was doing as a medical student. And they said to me, "Would you be interested if you sponsor you to go and study to become a professional chef?" And I'm like, "Wow, the sponsor to go and study to become a chef?" And they went, "Yes." I'm like, "Oh wow, okay, I'm all in." So they ready in college of professional cookery. I did level 1, 2, and 3, and I did very, very well on my scores, on my practicals, and then that motivated them again to further sponsor me to do my bachelor's degree at Westminster College in London, where I did my BSc on menu engineering and gastronomy. And when I graduated from that as well, I also get sponsored again by the same company to go and do my master in the French School of Gastronomy, which is in France. One is in Bordeaux, one is in Paris. So that's where I did my master's in menu engineering again and gastronomy slash pastry and development menus and recipes. Then when I graduated, then and I was certified by the hotel I've worked for, meaning it's because of the hard work, the enthusiasm, and also the seriousness and the dedication I put on in my work that led me attract their interest in having to sponsor me to go and pursue an area which I have never thought of in my life, which came out to be a lucrative area because I took it as, okay, it's a journey. I wanted to become a medical person or personnel, but this is also an opportunity that I got given because I've been sacrificing my time and my energy towards what they wanted me to do. When they gave me all that, I said, okay, I'm gonna put all my energy, all my effort to become a greater person. Then that actually motivated me to do well in my career. So at Westminster as well, I did well because I came with a 3.0 in my dissertation or my thesis. That motivated me to sponsor me to go and do my master's degree in France, which I did so well. In fact, one of my thesis has actually been used up until today, which I said, it's a question which said, where did we go wrong? And where did we go wrong is I used an example, a comparison of a normal person and a mad person. Like I'll say, a normal person chooses where to eat, what to drink, when to drink, how to drink it, nice showers, perfumes, deodorants, sleep on nice places, but we still go to the hospital. A mad person doesn't make any choice what to drink and what to drink, where to sleep, and doesn't use any of these, and they're going back to natural. We never meet with diarrhea or any sickness in the hospitals. So where did we go wrong? So this thesis happened to be one of the most popular thesis that really everyone now is working on it. So people come and write over it and rewrite, rewrite, rewrite. So it's a never-ending question that is being used in the university.
Obviously. Wow.
I went back to the UK because I have to, there was a term and condition that was like, after graduating, I have to work for the company for 2 good years. So which I have to go back and honor. Of course, I give them back what I call the goodwill gesture they gave me, or return of favor, in other words. So there and then, when I was still young, they got me into what we call Berkshire intercounty cooking competition for young chefs, which was my first competition. I had to go in to represent my county, which was Berkshire, Reading. And this, of which I came out first. That was my first time of winning a competition. And it was a really tough one. And then I got hijacked by one of the top chefs called Heston Blumenthal, who is one of the biggest chefs in the world. And he has a big restaurant called the Fat Duck in Bray, wherein I went to work for him. And then I have been entering into master chef competition, into junior chef competition. So with that, I was able to win out about 4 different competitions within the UK. And then one was in France again. I won that. And then I got taken to Australia through the same company to go and participate in an intercontinental hotels group competition amongst young chefs. But I don't know whether I was lucky to win again or it is something that came as natural. I believe it, yes. I emerged the winner of the competition as well. So making it 6 competitions I've won internationally. So when I came back to the Gambia, of course, I really want to do this, what I say, I want to put the Gambian culinary art up there by having youngsters innovative and creative in whatever they do as a chef. So even in my cuisine, what I believe is now we have a lot of natural ingredients around us that we know. Like for instance, when I say here, like use of mango seeds or the mango canals. You know, when you have a mango, the seed is edible, but we don't know that's edible, right? We can do a lot with it. Really? And then we go about the papaya seeds. Papaya seeds, 1 seed of papaya seed got about 17 health benefits, you know, and then also nutritional benefits. So us as Gambians, we need to explore our natural or also our available ingredients around us, not having to worry about having to import or use the imported ingredients. They're moving forward. You can look around during the rainy season when we have, and also the season just started. It's about the watermelon season. When the watermelon season comes in, we really enjoy just the fruit part of it or the meaty part of it. We forget that fruits of watermelon are even richer fibers than the food that we eat. So there's a lot that we can do with what we have around us. But it's just a matter of exploring and getting to know what to do with them and how to do with them. And I also pick up this to say I need to inspire the young ones by going to the schools, give them that motivation, inspiration, telling them that it's not all about having to travel makes you the best person you can ever be. You can make it here. And making it here could be the breakthrough for you, because when you make it here, then you are unbreakable. Wherever you go, you can make it still. I understand that. I've seen that. I'm back home in my own country, developing myself again. So I've just given you a run through of a little bit of my career, not to waste my time. And that's the reason why I have to fast track it to that end.
You know, the beauty about it is I'm smiling here because I know we would have you again. And it's important that you're taking us through all, you're fast tracking everything. Maybe because of the fact that we lost you before due to the connection and the time has gone. So we would definitely get you back, Chef Bojang. But this time when we get you back, I would love to have you physically with me, because I know there is a whole other thing that Gambia needs to understand about who Chef Bojang is. And that brain of yours, there is a whole other capacity in that brain. And the brain we need to get it more. I know you're actually doing impeccably well. Of course, having engaged young people, students in particular, and sharing the beautiful experience that you've undergone through. That alone is a plus. And I must say that the Gambian people really value and appreciate you as a person, and the fact that you have to leave the comfort zone that you have in the UK, because you could have stayed in the UK. I'm sure you're being paid very well in the UK. You can never compare that to what you're getting here in the Gambia. And the beauty about what you're doing also, Chef Bojang, is that you've established your own business at this point, and the fact that you understand what is lacking in the Gambia food as a whole. I'm really conversant, and the fact that you want to bring that, you want to bring everything that you've experienced from the international world, you're bringing it to the Gambia. That alone should suffice, should make the Gambian people value what you're doing, but also should make the Gambian, not only the government, but everybody who is a Gambian should come together and support what you're doing in this beautiful country, Chef Bojang. I must say this, and we all need to hear. All that needs to be done is for the media to actually show people like yourself who are doing this much for this country, and people to appreciate, but to come together to support whatever it is that you're doing. Really, we value Chef Bojang. I must really say that. Because I'm not sure I have school to go to. So maybe Mohammed, can we extend the time? We can, yes, we can extend the time a little bit further. So you can take us through, because the fact that you've mentioned, look at him laughing. Seriously, we will have you again, right? The fact that you've mentioned, I've got here that you also happen to be the first Gambian to actually cook for the late Queen. We must send our condolences to the kingship for the demise of the king, of the Queen. So the fact that you did that, we are curious. Everybody is curious, because when I read your paragraphy before we came live, I have people tell me, seriously, we have a Gambian that actually happened to cook for the Queen. And I'm like, yeah, we are proud. And this Gambia has, among other things, Gambia is doing well and has been doing well. So maybe you can take us through also how you came about having been the first Gambian to cook for the Queen.
Yeah, after winning one of the competitions, which was a big challenge, the challenge was run by Heston Blumenthal, and then Raymond Pong was part of it as well, and then of course Jamie Oliver. So they were all like my mentors at the time. So when the key was whoever wins the competition will cook at Buckingham Palace. So I happened to win, and then that's how I was able to cook at Buckingham Palace, the royal family, and also after I finished from there, and then they working at Royal Ascot, and I've done the Royal Hampton Court Palace, I've done the Royal then I started going in the area what we call the circuit, meaning I will lead a team that travels around within the UK. The teams the whole place steps and do what we need to do in wherever they are. Within Scotland, which is or Wales or Ireland, or within very, very far distance, and people can and the whole team will get up to just to go in. Sometimes about 180 chefs or 200 chefs that we put together. I happen to lead the team. So I got those respect from him. I mean, as the chef who the manager who is actually our executive trusts me that much that he has to give me all these responsibilities. And when I was at Buckingham Palace, that's more to do with to prepare healthy and traditional cuisine for the royal family. Of course, with the Queen, and may her soul rest in perfect peace. I'm humble that I was able to cook her and also to actually face her. So like a one-to-one, even not with the security between us, that has happened.
Wow.
So I was like, wow. Myself very close to the Queen, shook my hand to the royal family, you know, and to hear the Queen saying thank you, this is delicious. I was like, wow.
Wow. That alone.
In fact, I will cry every day with emotions, mixed feelings. Like, is it true to cook for the Queen? And is it true that the is actually talking to me? Oh, okay. Then I got to accept and even royal as well.
MashaAllah. Wow, beautiful, beautiful. You know what? At this point, I come to say, whoever that's here in Gambia and wishes to go meet the Queen, I think we can definitely come through you. Like anybody who wants to meet or wanted to meet the Queen could come to you and then just shake your hand. I think that would suffice. But yeah, so Saikou Bojang, sorry, I didn't get that.
I have been so as is always having club.
Okay, so at this point, sorry, I'm coughing. At this point, we would love for you to, of course, we understand that you're also the president of the Gambia Chef Association, but also it says you are an ambassador. Of course, we talked about gastronomy and all that. So maybe you can take us through a little bit and what are some of the problems? Because I'm sure in whatever we do, there are problems that we are faced with. So what are some of the challenges that you're faced with, and how best do you think we can mitigate some of these challenges that you may be faced with? You can talk a little bit in that regard, and also take us through your restaurant.
Oh yeah, I'm a restaurant. Obviously, I started a way of kind of saying the gastronomy is still going on, which is having to explore around our local cuisine, you know, which is obviously our fish. I'm bringing even the nyambe nyebe is even part of my menu, remodified and redesigned. The same concept, but the presentation looks completely different. Because it's a street food and I missed it so bad during the school days. I love nyambe nyebe, so I brought it back in a different way. I have chura gete. Chura gete this time around is fried chura gete, which amazed many people. So chura gete is also something that people need to explore as well. So like we're using our own ingredients, local cuisine, remodifying it to make sure it suits the international market for people. In fact, the chura gete won competition in Ghana as a dessert. Obviously, I added two things to it. Of course, the wonjo that we have in our houses, I used wonjo as a coolie instead of using the raspberries or strawberries. Then the tol, the kaba, you know, the unripe mangoes. These are the ingredients I'm using as my natural flavorings to my dishes, and I'm using the local herbs as well. So technically, what I'm doing is I have to follow natural ingredients in a way of fine dining, obviously. And of course, challenges you will understand these days is more like the cost of items or ingredients have gone up, whilst the menu prices always remains the same. So when I say if you go buy fish today, you might get it for a price higher than yesterday, which doesn't because the menu has been written for about 6 months ago. At that level. So it's always different and difficult But people will always say now it's expensive, but the cost of living nowadays, the Gambia or worldwide is a big challenge. So I understand, I have the support, especially the media part of it. I have this media personnel that will come here every evening to support what I'm doing, and other Gambians as well who really appreciate what I've been doing. Do come here to show some support in embracing my my traditional cuisine. So moving forward, this is an association that was from way back in 2005 before even I came back. But obviously, the family into a different life or a different world, showing that this is a noble profession that we should be proud of. And it's not just a profession, but also it's a career that requires dedication and passion to drive you to become a successful person in that area. So we also do have challenges, obviously, when we are to go and represent the Gambia. Like you can see the medals all the way down. Um, it's always a challenge for people to come forward to support the Chef Association, which is a national team going to represent the nation and still having to win trophies to come home with. Because whenever we win trophies, a name is never mentioned, but the nation flag is what we use as the Gambia has won A, B, C, or Z competitions in such and such country. Right now, we'll be going to Ghana to defend our championship again. That's going to be on the 30th of October. We still don't even have a ticket roster. We haven't got any support yet. Hopefully, maybe someone will come in support to say, okay, the Gambia Chef Association team in the Gambia, we will get you a ticket to go. We only play with 5 people. All we need is tickets. We normally support ourselves with our accommodations, which is wrong because we are representing a nation, not an individual or an institution. The Gambia Chef Association, the team from the representing the Gambia on the West African cooking competition. So if that alone is a big challenge. So we know we are not a a sporting team. But we are a team. I would say would this be the only national team that has been winning trophies in the that scale, and the only team that has been supported by our Gambians. So maybe that also needs some fine tuning to help us embrace our culture. And we use in our Gambian cuisine to fight other countries, plate it in an international way to make sure people see it as a dish that could be sold internationally. So in other words, we are marketing our tourism or food and just making the Gambia. Then when it comes to best of gastronomy, this is a French-based, I would say, culinary association, which has over 262 countries uh, um, they say culinary gurus. So basically what we do is like we scout out great chefs and then test them out before they are part of gastronomy. So for me, the president of Best of Gastronomy, who's John Granwall from the France, was my classmate when I was in uni. So he contacted me and said, hey, this and this is going on, and I know you can do it. We can trust you because we know what your capabilities are in the gastronomy world. So I said, what is it? And he took me whole gastronomy, and I said, okay, I'll give it a shot. So I have to still go through a competition to win a gold medal, and I did. I won gold medal in 2019, 2020, 2022, all gold medals. And through that, 2021 also, I also pushed another 4 Gambians or 5 Gambians to be part of this Best of Gastronomy competition challenge, and all came with gold medals as well. So the Gambia is the only country within Africa, I would say, that got six gold medals from Best of Gastronomy, and seconded by Ghana, 3, Nigeria got 2, and Morocco got 4. So Gambia is still leading medals in gold for Best of Gastronomy.
MashaAllah. Isn't that fantastic? Isn't that beautiful? Look at, with all the effort, regardless of the constraint of the challenges that you're facing, we still have people who are positive minded like yourself pushing ahead, regardless of when the health are not being realized. I think it's a shame for the whole Gambia as a nation that you are having such undergone such challenges, and things are just not in its right perspective, in its right place. I think the support needs to come, and of course, everybody is seeing what you're doing. Then the whole nation, the whole Gambia is seeing what the Gambia Chef Association is doing, and the fact that you are bringing lawyers in this country, the help would definitely would come. The support would definitely would come. I'm sure anybody who watches this and heard you speak would definitely come on board to support this. We pray for God willing. We definitely pray for this, God willing, inshallah. Thank you so much, Saikou Bojang. I don't know what your final remark would be, that is having to encourage the young ones. What would you say to the young Gambian people? What message would you have for us?
As a youth, a youngster, it's all about dedication, and whatever you do it with passion for you to gain what you want, or to reach to the level you want to reach to. And the other thing is that people saying about the sky is the limit. I believe from the sky, I start to explore other planets. So don't believe in the sky is, but believe that from the sky, you start to explore other planets that are around in whatever the universe. So please, as a youngster, you can make it home. This is home where you can have all your support. When you go out of your country, you are a loner, striving through alone, and you might get through tough times, or even tougher than having to make it in your own home country. How many people are in our country who have made it even bigger and better than those that have actually traveled out of the country? So you can make it here. We are here to support each other. We are here to inspire. We are here to coach. We are here to direct you to your right path of your career. So please stay focused. And with that, I call this word you should have the discipline in what you do, and the attitudinal change to what you do, passion in what you do. We have the DAP that I use in my own slogan, you will make it. And I always say, I am inspire you, or I am inspiring you to inspire me back. So my slogan is inspire to be inspired. Means I inspire you, go make me proud, and I get inspired by your new you, or your new person. And I wishing you a well-blessed weekend.
Oh, thank you so much, Saikou Bojang. Really, be ready, because Mohammed and I would definitely reach out again. Because as I said, I'm not really satisfied with the conversation. I want to have us fast, as the French would say, and then have Gambia hear more of Chef Bojang. And I love your quote, which is inspired to inspire to be inspired. That is beautiful. Thank you so much, Chef Bojang. It was a pleasure that we have you on Generation Next, and I look forward to having you again on Generation Next. And thank you very much to our beautiful audience who have stayed with us throughout, despite the fact that the internet was glitching. Thank you so much. And Chef Bojang, until we come again, you stay blessed, and thank you so much from the entire team, Generation Next team. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Generation Next, for all your support. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Until we
meet again. Mashallah.